Good morning. Good morning. It is Thursday. Is that what day it is? Thursday, February 3rd. Many of you may not recognize me because I cleaned up last night. I shaved, and now I look younger and less haggard. I've already turned on the record. I've already pressed that button today, so I don't have to worry about that. I've checked the microphone. It's odd. I'm a little bit short on articles today, so I'm a little worried there. But in general, I think we're going to have a pretty good live stream today. The snowstorm update is this. Yes, it did indeed snow a lot last night, overnight. I don't know if travel is difficult because I'm not traveling today. I am thankful for those people who do have to travel and who do have to go to work at the office and are going and fighting this weather. It's cold out. And the problem with the cold weather is here, this is the excuse, and I don't know if it's true or not, but we had a day of rain before the temperature was set to drop. So they said if they were to put salt on the streets, that would be it would just get washed away before the snow got here. And then it got very, very cold. I don't know what the temperature is right now, but it's really, really cold. And they say that, and I don't know if it's true, it's 16 degrees. They say that the salt needs like a certain temperature to work. Now, I have not seen the trucks in my neighborhood. I have decided that around 4 or 5, I will go outside and I will start scraping windshields and I will start cleaning off the drives because the snowstorm should be over. We could get some more snow today based on the forecast. But like today I would say, okay, closing down businesses makes sense. Yesterday it just seemed like everyone just wanted a day off. And I don't mean that to be negative. So how are you? Right? How are you? Often we need to ask, how are we doing? I don't like this little spot here. Maybe I missed. Anyway, or maybe it's just white and I'm not used to it. It's important to me to try to build this community the right way. And by the right way, I mean to have enough people that, when we have a live stream, that there's actually people chatting with me and we can have a good community. That takes the right people. I'm trusting Google to do that, YouTube, to bring me the right people. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we keep trying. Why? I don't know. Like I said yesterday, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my time. I don't know. Yesterday I made a meme. I don't know. Let me see if I can do my best here to get the meme to come up because I thought it was good. And I thought that I don't know, I'm trying. And you say, well, why didn't you do this before you started the show? Well, I'll be honest with you. It didn't occur to me. Why didn't it occur to you? I don't know. So yeah, we can do this. We can definitely do this. And we can talk about it because maybe it'll help me be a better meme maker. Okay. But that's a little bit big. Can we shrink that down a little? Yeah. Put it where the people can see it. I don't know. Let me see on the screen if you can see it. Yes, you can. Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to send it over. Here you go. I made a meme. I've seen a lot of memes over the years, and sometimes I don't even understand them myself. Okay, don't get me wrong. There's certain ones I've not figured out. To create something original and a meme makes me happy, just like live streaming does. There's these. I'd say now that I get older, there's these outlets that I have. The whole social media and the ability to communicate and express my quote unquote frustrations with the business is helpful. I don't know if you can read it, but it says, "You're preventing my family from living in safety." Okay. And then the cat's like, you can always change the light bulb when you move in. So did you get that one? So it's the idea that like when you have to explain a meme, maybe it's not so great, but I don't think you do. I think you can figure it out. But during a buyer-seller inspection negotiation, the buyers, are always like, "Oh, it's terrible. It's safety. We're gonna, we have to make all these changes, and you need to cut 10 grand off the price." And like the sellers are just not having it most of the time. So I sent it to the broke agent. I don't know if they'll shoot it across the Twitter feed. It would help me. I'm stuck at 40. What are they? 40. Are they followers on Twitter? 40 followers. It'd be nice, but who knows? Who knows what they'll do? And I don't know. Oh, I'm going to be there because of the. Every time it checks in, I get another. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I don't want to be on Twitter too long today. I just wanted you to see that. That's later in the show. I don't want you to see that. I don't want you to see that because we're still going through. Oh goodness, still going through our intro, the start of the day. So you may say, "John, how's your business doing during the snowstorm?" Well, it's not doing very well because there's no business to be done. I'm not going out to show houses. I'm not listing. If somebody called me today and said, "Hey, will you list my house?" I'd say, "Can we meet tomorrow?" I want to drive. Say, "Well, some other agent would." Yeah. But I'm getting to the point where there's got to be some sort of boundaries. What if the person's calling me out and they've called 7 other real estate agents? Is that even worth my time at this point? No. Because I don't have this desire to. You go on this listing appointment, okay, and they've got 7 other people, and then you call them the next day and say, "Hey, I really enjoyed meeting with you. What do I need to do to get this listing?" And they're like, "You need to cut your commission by 80%, and you need to wash my car, and also clean up anything in my house. You need to stage it yourself, and somebody else is even going to pay me to list the house." It's like, well, why am I wasting my time here? There's no point. So, who knows? Now, could I go tomorrow? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the weather's going to be tomorrow. But the business is slow. We're in February. Rates are great still, but right now the time in the market traditionally is slow. It does pick up though around March, 3rd week of March. We want to be out in the marketplace. We'll see about interest rates rising, if that's going to cause any issues. But again, one of my clients is looking for a duplex in South St. Louis and for a certain price or less. And it's now been 3 weeks since we've seen any listings come out. I mean, that's how limited the supply is. And I don't really, I can read the articles. I can understand it, but I'm amazed by this idea that there's all these people that own all these houses and none of them want to sell. And then there's all these buyers that want to buy houses and there's nothing to buy, or very limited because no one's selling anything. I don't know what that's about. It's a market, but It's like this. Have you ever seen $5,000 in cash? Like say in ones? Like it's the volume is just ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. You'd be like, what in the world? But it's really not that much money. I mean, relative. So I didn't check the lottery last night. I don't know if I won or not, but I mean, 44. I haven't done very well so far on the lottery, so I don't know that last night was going to be my night. But yeah, how are you? How are you doing? I have my one viewer, and now I think we shall go to YouTube and see who's beating me this morning in live streaming. There's an Eagle Cam. There's 52 people watching that. There's the Chill Synth Radio. That's 644 people. I shouldn't mess with that because, again, that's the music ones are kind of. But anyway, we'll get to it. Friends of Felines Rescue Center. Friends of Feelings Rescue Center. Felines. 265 people watching that. Lo-Fi Hip Hop Girl, 44,000 people watching today. I said I wasn't going to do that, but then when I saw her, and they only had like one person yesterday. Consider these factors before going full-time in crypto. 676 people watching that. New York, please follow TikTok, Lambo NYC. That's 119 people watching that. Blast Premier Spring Groups 2022. They've got one person watching, and I'm one person watching. So we're kind of in the same spot. How many subscribers does Blast Premier have? I'm a little curious. $321,000. I have 54 subscribers. So they're, it's more embarrassing for them by far. Flutter community, 92 people watching that. You're about to get a message from your children or about. That's 115 people watching. Action on Rejection, that's 61 people watching that. Bada Business Gorkul. Penny Stock Guy's got 306 people watching today. Fortnite new skin release countdown. 19 people watching. That's nice. Logo Blocks. Let's see how many subscribers Logo Blocks has. It's just not. Logo Blocks has 201,000 subscribers. So, I mean, he's got me beat. Or she or it. Ask the OG. He's got 348 people watching. Cashflow L2 accountancy accounts. He's got 28 people watching today. Oh, there's a different monkey channel. Tiny Baby Amy and Ben live stream 140. 15 people watching that. Wow. I just don't know. Just don't know. A lot of people doing better than me this morning. Which is fine. It's okay. I might cry a little bit, might shed a little tear, but you know what? I get it. My 54 subscribers and I are just not good enough for the big time yet. 66 consecutive live streams in a row. You'd think I would have had more than one viewer right now. No offense to the one viewer. But anyway, that's where that is. let's look at Google Trends. Let's get into it. I mean, it's 9:15. We might run out of articles. I might have to cut this short today, which would be an embarrassment. But you know, I don't know what to do. I could probably find some articles, then we don't know if they're any good or not, and then I'm spending time. I don't know. But then I don't know if they're any good really because I don't read many of them before we put them up. So whatever. Let's take a look. So I was on Google Trends, and it says that Facebook's having a tough day. They had 500,000 searches about Facebook yesterday, and so I went to this website, which I have no idea if it's good or not. It says it's CoinSpeaker, and it says Meta Facebook stock tanks 22% post Q4 results, blames Apple privacy changes for hurting business. Now, this is a topic that is too difficult for me to understand, because you have all kinds of, you've got tech issues, you've got all kinds of issues. It says the company said that Apple's privacy changes have cost their ad revenue to the tune of $10 billion during the fourth quarter of 2021. The company also reported an additional $10 million loss in its AR/VR operations. Now, kudos to Apple for some privacy changes. Is that what we see here? I mean, we've all figured out by now that Facebook, Google, everyone is harvesting your information and then taking that information and selling it to advertisers. And then, you know, they're advertising platforms. They become and they monetize themselves by using your data for free. And then what do you get out of it? You get to see pictures of your family across the world. That's what you get out of it for free. Now, I don't feel sorry for Facebook. Let's go over something that many of you do not know, and I'm happy to say it on this. I'm happy to say it on this live stream for the first time ever. So let me tell you about Facebook and how it works on my business. Okay, so you get this. You're a real estate agent. Okay, you get a license from the state in which you operate. So I have a Missouri broker's license. I have a Missouri license for the office, and I have for myself. Okay. Now, the state has then said that you are approved or capable of running the show. You can run your brokerage. And as long as you don't break any sort of laws, you can do whatever you want to. Well, that's not good enough for Facebook. Do you know that I can't advertise on Facebook as a real estate agent in any way like someone could advertise a shirt? Does that make any sense? What do I mean by that? Well, let's say somebody writes a shirt that says, "You are a stupid F." Okay. That shirt can be advertised everywhere. They can pick like demographics, who would like the shirt, income level, in the demographics, income level, location, down to the zip code, probably down even a smaller radius than that. They can choose maps. They can, anywhere across the country, anywhere across the world, they can have it set up like that. But if you're a real estate agent, you can't do that. You have to abide by some weird rules where you're not allowed to like pick a zip code. So I'm not allowed to market to my own zip code, which is 63123 in St. Louis. I can't specifically market to that zip code. Okay. But I can market a 15-mile radius on Facebook, which puts me in Illinois where I'm not licensed. And to me, this is a beautiful illustration of why the tech companies are crazy. Why is it that I have every right conferred to me by my own local government, and yet some company that's not a local company by any stretch of the imagination can just literally say, nope, can't advertise where you want to? And let's talk about the issue there. Facebook's declaration says, because there's been a historic level of discrimination in real estate, you will pay for it. You are the one that will pay for it. Whether or not you've done any sort of discrimination ever, You will pay for it. Now, the weird thing is discrimination. Okay. If I don't want to, like, I only have, as a real estate agent, so much money, okay, for marketing. Like, the least amount of money I have is probably for my zip code. I mean, I have enough money to advertise to my zip code. So at least some people know my business exists. But with Facebook saying a 15-mile radius, now I don't have money to advertise to that section of people, nor would it do me any good because, again, I'm not licensed in Illinois. It does me no good to advertise there. So how is it that this company that's not in St. Louis, that's not in Missouri, can tell me, hey, you can't advertise on our platform zip codes? Because that's racist. It's not racist to advertise in a zip code. I don't know who's in the zip code. It's just ridiculous. And on a larger sense, the problem with it is some people who were not real estate agents or were not real estate brokers involved themselves in listing their apartments and rentals for sale, and they were racist. Okay, and they did do bad things on the platform, and Facebook was sued, and they should have been. But if you have a license, if you're a licensed real estate agent and you're discriminating, somebody's going to catch you at some point. You know, somebody's going to get you. Why in the world would you penalize the rest of us for not doing anything? It's ridiculous. So I don't feel bad about Facebook. Believe me. So let's get back to the article. Let's get on the screen share because I apologize. I think I missed it in the beginning, but it says, on Wednesday, February 2nd, Facebook's parent company reported its quarter 4 2021 results, disappointing the street in a big way. The Facebook stock plunged a straight 22% in the aftermarket hours to trade under $250. It means Meta has eroded more than $200 billion of investors' wealth in a single day. Now, I'm not going to talk about the public companies and the valuations because that's ridiculous. I mean, there's no point. There's companies that never make any money and they're valued just ridiculous. Such a sharp reaction followed after Facebook reported a decline in its daily active users for the first time in 18 years. So what is that about? It says last quarter, Facebook's daily active users dropped 1.929 billion to 1.929 billion from 1.93 billion. Despite being a marginal drop, it has led to major negative sentiment. Okay, well, why would people stop being on Facebook? Well, because they manipulate the data to the point where you get this stuff that's, ridiculous in your feed. Everything is fact checked by people that are not even close to legitimate. Most of the time, they're activist groups. They slap warning signals on stuff that's ridiculous. But the reason why they do all that stuff is because they don't have the ability to police their own platform, and they never have. And for them to make all this money, they don't want to spend any of that money on policing their platform. And you say, well, they spent $1 billion. You know what? So what? They make plenty. They make plenty. Let's go over some more of this. So Meta claimed that it faced major hits after Apple made privacy changes to its operating system. This has made it harder for brands and businesses to target customers on Facebook and Instagram. Additionally, the stock was under major pressure after Facebook said it is expecting slowing revenue growth due to rising competition. Well, Facebook opened the door to competition because of their practices. They deserve what they're getting. Okay? I mean, the things that they've done to harm the citizens of the United States is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what they've done in the rest of the world, and I don't really care. But in the United States, this company is disgusting, and they do terrible things all the time. And I have no interest. If you saw that article about sex trafficking, and that was just like 2 nights ago, and They don't even get it off of their platform. It's just gross. So it says currently Facebook is the second largest digital ad platform globally after Google. During yesterday's conference call, Meta's chief financial officer, Dave Weiner, said the company's losses due to Apple's privacy changes could be to the tune of $10 billion. And I'm fine with that. It says it's clear that there's many roadblocks ahead as Meta faces tough new competition for ad revenue such as TikTok, and as it contends with ongoing ad targeting and measurement challenges from Apple's iOS changes. Look, I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess. And again, they could have my money. Facebook could have my money if they let me advertise, but they don't. I mean, the 30-mile radius or 15-mile radius from my house is stupid. So they get it. They deserve it. It said Facebook Realty Labs reports a $10.2 billion loss. In its Q4 2021 results, Meta reported that it has lost a staggering $10.2 billion last year in its newly created Facebook Realty Labs divisions. This division looks after the company's virtual and augmented reality operations. It was for the first time that the company had broken out this segment in its results. The loss surged compared to the $6.6 billion loss in the previous year. Besides, company CEO Mark Zuckerberg that heavy investments in this area would reduce the company's operating margins by $10 billion, but Zuckerberg remains optimistic of the developments taking place in the space. With Facebook on a massive transition, investors need to be clear. Their investment is not just an investment in Facebook's ad platform, but a belief in the future of the metaverse. I do not have any interest in the metaverse. If it does take hold, I hope I'm dead before. Because to sit there and watch these people with this stupid thing on their face, looking like freaking zombies, isn't living. We weren't put on Earth for this reason, to sit around like zombies all day. But there's some themes here in business. One, when you're that large of a company, you can't make like to grow, you can't make like some sort of incremental shift because it doesn't do anything for you. And the risk is still there that you can screw up. You have to shoot for the moon. And so with Metaverse, they're shooting for the moon. And if it works, that's great. And if it doesn't, I'm okay with that too. If Facebook goes away tomorrow, my life is fine. I can count on my hand the number of leads I've ever gotten from Facebook as a real estate agent. I actually don't need hands. I mean, it's everyone talks about Facebook being wonderful for advertising. I get nothing. It's a waste of my time. And I just want you to understand how powerful these companies are, though. I mean, $10 billion they can write off, or they can just lose and not go out of business. I mean, that's in one quarter. There's a lot of money coming and going in that business for you to be able to do that. So, if Facebook goes away, will there be a replacement? Sure. I'm much more confident that we're going to have some sort of social media apps than I am the metaverse. Now, will people make money in the metaverse and throw it around like Bitcoin or crypto bros? Absolutely. Absolutely, but that doesn't mean I have to be a part of it. I see a lot of people saying, well, you can sell virtual real estate. I don't really want to sell virtual real estate. I don't want to sell anything virtually. I mean, it's not my thing. All right. Moving on. Beloved New Jersey groundhog Milltown Mel dies just before Groundhog Day. Now, is there anything worse? If you're a groundhog Like, that's your big day. I didn't even know yesterday was Groundhog Day. And up until yesterday, I swear, like, for the most part, the weather was like 60 degrees. I mean, there were a couple cold days, but not enough to really make it interesting. So I had to read about this. It says, you certainly heard of Punxsutawney Phil, but have you heard of Milltown Mel? No. Mel, a New Jersey groundhog, also predicted how long winter will last every February 2nd based on whether he saw his shadow. But Mel has now crossed over the Rainbow Bridge, his wranglers said in announcing his death on Saturday. I didn't know that a euphemism for death is crossing over the Rainbow Bridge. I thought it'd be more interesting if they said, but Mel has now taken his final dirt nap. Mel died just before Groundhog Day, which is the worst time to die for a groundhog, leaving his community in central New Jersey at a tough time of the year when most of his fellow groundhogs are hibernating. In a Facebook post, the wrangler said no baby groundhogs will be able to replace Mel until the spring, so Milltown will do without one this year. Now, I don't understand groundhog physiology. Why is it that one groundhog is not hibernating? Like, is there something special about him? Does he hibernate later in the year or sooner in the year? How does that work? I guess I could Google it, but I again, the chat knows more than I do. Let me check. Oh, that's right. There's no one in the chat. Anyway. It says Mel has been serving since 2015. According to his Instagram, last year he predicted 6 more weeks of winter. But in 2020, he predicted an early spring. It appears Mel was quite the optimist, predicting early springs from 2015 to 2018. So I don't know if he was right or wrong. I don't know if, like, the groundhog is only for a specific region. So is it central New Jersey that he is able to prognosticate the weather? Or is it more of the United States in general? How does this work? There's a little Instagram post here. It says the Wranglers, we Wranglers, are sad to report that Milltown Mel recently crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. Considering the average lifespan of a groundhog is about 3 years, that is not such a shock. But Mel left us at a tough time of the year when most of his fellow groundhogs are hibernating. We will work hard on getting us a new weather prognosticator for next year. Till then, please check out what all of Mel's cousins have to say on February 2nd. His predecessor, who died in 2015, was also named Mel. Wait a minute. Are they just using the same name? That's sad. It says the Wranglers. I don't know who those people are. I don't know. I don't understand. Is that a group of people that herds groundhogs? Said they will work on getting a new weather prognosticator for last year. I just saw that in the post, advising followers to check out what Mel's cousins predicted this year. Punxsutawney Phil, the most famous weather forecasting groundhog, emerged Wednesday morning to predict 6 more weeks of winter. While groundhogs don't really have powers that allow them to predict the weather, the American version of the holiday has been around since February 2nd, 1877 or 1887. Now, the fact that you have to put that sentence in an article is kind of frightening. Like, are there people that are really going around, like, marking their calendars to the Groundhog's Day prognostication? The tradition was started in Germany, where people expanded on a Christmas tradition of using candles to see how long winter would be. A hedgehog was selected as the next winter forecaster, and when German settlers came to Pennsylvania, they switched to groundhogs, which were common in the state. So I'm wondering, like, the hedgehog, I guess they have those in Germany. And then they switched to groundhogs here because there were more of them. I don't know if my life has gotten better because I just read that article. First of all, I didn't know there was a Milltown Mel. Okay. And so now I've got a groundhog named Milltown Mel that it's now dead, that I just found out about. And then the article tells me that the Groundhog Day, like, the groundhog isn't really predicting the weather. I don't know how much time I got out of this, but seriously. And they're just going to replace Milltown Mel with another Milltown Mel. They're not even going to get, like, you know, Milltown Mini, like Milltown Margaret. I mean, why does it have to be a man? Does anybody know that? Why does the groundhog have to be a man? Why can't it be a woman? Are women groundhog worse prognosticators of the weather than the males? Has anyone researched this? Okay. Well, I guess we'll go on. Wichita, Kansas. Now, I don't know why. I'm serious. I don't know why. I don't know why I was in Wichita, Kansas, as far as looking at houses fairly recently. I have it set up in my calendar to only look at certain things at certain times so that I don't run into this situation, but it's hard for me to believe that I've gone. I mean, I'm at 65 days, so I mean, I guess it's possible. But Wichita isn't like the first thing on my mind. I've looked at the church. I'm not interested. I think I've looked at the second one, J.P. Wiegand and Sons. They've listed that one. They've listed the third highest one, J.P. Wiegand and Sons. Then you've got a 7,500 square foot house by Platinum Realty, Coldwell Banker Plaza Real Estate, Berkshire Hathaway Perfect. I'm sorry, PenFed, and then J.P. Wiegand and Sons. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at these houses. We're going to start here. We're going to look at these three. If you just hate the houses, or if we've seen them before and you remember them, I apologize. 36 pictures, $2.9 million, 6 bedrooms, 7.5 baths, 9,000 square feet, 155 days on the market, 3-car garage built in 2016. The property history indicates that it's just been listed since 2021, so that's not so bad. And the property details, way too much for me to read. Double check in case someone is in the chat. So it's got a nice facade. That's how I would start pretty much anything. Look at that. There's the door. Here's the first room. Interesting kitchen. Interesting design choices. House is built in 2016, so it's not like it's, new. That's very interesting. Ceiling. I like to see all the wood. Oh, that's really interesting. But see, I mean, I was in a bathroom. Now I'm still in the bathroom. Okay, and that's still the bathroom. It's just interesting. That's all. It's not a complaint. And then this should be the basement. There's your wine cellar. There's your bathroom. I think I commented even that I liked these tiles. I don't really remember this too much. There's your theater room. And that's a wonderful laundry room. And the outdoor space. Love the outdoor space. I don't know why the TV couldn't be outside. for the photos. Kind of interesting. I like that you can have like the water there. That's pretty cool. You know, over the chairs so you can get some exposure to the water. Okay. 2.9 million. This is like what, $800,000 less. 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths, 11,427 square feet on a 1.4 acre lot. So I mean, what you're questioning now is this is in a different part of town, different zip code. It's got a 4-car garage built in 1995, so it's older. Extraordinary rare find. This is it. Your perfect moment. Wichita's most exclusive home. Well, it's not, because there's 2 others above it. Tucked away from it all, but minutes from everything, situated perfectly on an elegant circle drive in the coveted Pinnacle neighborhood. The serene privacy and exclusive view is priceless. Well, it does have a price. It's like $2 million, I believe. Yeah. The expansive terrace landscaping manicured to perfection with the stone paver patio, gunite pool, hot tub, and waterfall will transform everyday living into one of luxury and paradise while being right in the hearts of Wichita. This is more than a home. This is a life. Okay. It's been listed since 2020, going on 2 years. What did they start with? What was the pricing that they started with? 2.7, and they're at 2 million now. They got 36 pictures. I mean, hey, I prefer to come through the door and look at the first picture, but and that's kind of what you would see. Just a lot of stuff. When we've seen this room before, that's the weird thing. Like when you start looking at all these luxury homes, you start seeing like how it gets laid out. And I mean, we've seen this. There's the piano that no one plays. And I just want you to know, okay, as a real estate agent, I tend to pick up on this stuff quick. The wonderful bedroom. One of the creepy things I can do, and I'm not, there's a nice closet. One of the things that you do as a real estate agent, and I know it sounds weird, is like I typically memorize every place I've been. And I know I don't have an eidetic memory or anything like that. But if I'm driving down the street, I can tell you where I've shown a home before. I can normally do that. And we're talking over like a decade. You say, well, you haven't shown that many houses, so that's why. No, I don't think that's the case. I have a desire to remember the houses because when I show houses to people, I want to be able to compare houses. Like when I talk to you, how I say, look, this first house is $800,000 less than the second house. Why? Or why is that? How are we comparing? And it's very similar to how I work when I go and show houses. If I get to a certain location and I've seen like 10 houses in the neighborhood, I'll tell you, like, I kind of have a good idea what the price is. And even though so, well, what good does pricing 5 years ago do for you? Well, I know what's in the house. I know what a good house would go for, and I know what a house that's not in great shape would go for. It's not like I don't want you to think that I have like some sort of super skill. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I'm interested in my business. I'm interested in my clients. And I think the least I could do is pay attention to when I'm in a house, where it is, and what are the amenities compared to another house in the same neighborhood. Let's look at this one. $1.9 million. 6 bedrooms, 5.5 baths. I can already see the sports court. Built in 2009, 4-car garage. Way too long a description for me to read. Sold in 2018, listed in 2021. And I mean, this is, I just want you to know, when we go over the detail, Okay, see how it says listing removed in 2017, but then sold in 2018? It wasn't listed when it was sold. It was a private sale. And so I want to caution everybody, whenever I read, the property history, which I find very important, it's entirely possible a house sold privately without it being listed and without realtor.com checking, without them knowing about it. This just happens to be public record, and they got it. So let's take a look. 36. The number one thing I see myself is, for 2 million, and let's just call it 2 million. I don't want neighbors all around me. I just don't. I mean, nice pool. But I mean, we're already in the, okay. This is the backyard. This is your second picture. The third picture is the pool. Now it has this gazebo thing here, and I love these, and I'd like one for my house. But I'm buying the house. Now I've got a picture of the garage. This is the fourth picture in the setup of the listings. What good did that do me? Now I'm in the bathroom. Now I'm in the kitchen. Now I don't know where I am. Again, I have no idea what's going on. I'm in the kitchen again. I like to set up my pictures so as I'm walking through the house, I have some idea of where I am. And when you do it this random, now you may say, well, it's a 7,500 square foot house, John. It's hard to do that. Well, I mean, am I in the basement right now? I would think I'm in the basement. There's the theater room. Is that the basement, or is that the garage? Is it converted? Now we got a nice bedroom. And we've got this. Clearly, this is the garage. They've got an epoxy floor. Got some nice cars, I believe. And this is nice, but it overlooks nothing. This doesn't do anything for me. There's your sports court. I mean, now this is not a criticism, but what is unique about this house at $2 million? It's big. I mean, it literally looks like a McMansion. And what I'm getting at is not a criticism of the home. What I'm getting at is, why is it that a house like this is going for $1 million? That's a sign of the times. Exclusivity, exquisite building materials. That's not something you're going to find in $1 million home anymore. And that's going to, even in Kansas, you're going to have to get in the $3 and $4 million range to get to be interesting. Now, I mean, it's sad. It shouldn't be that way, but that's the way it is. So I just wanted to put that out there for you, that, when you think about $1 million home anymore, it's not necessarily that unique. That was a $700,000 home 3 years ago. Check my chat. Nobody in it. Let's go. Go to the next article. Check my email while no one's looking. First article today I wanted to get into. What should happen when rates go up, right? We know that rates are supposed to go up. What's supposed to happen? This is CNBC. It says the Fed got the memo. Here's what you can do to prepare for the upcoming rate hike. Now, I care about inflation. It's my biggest fear. But other people think of it differently. Some people think of it like in an investment sense. Like, if you buy a stock, people think about inflation differently. People think about interest rates and how they affect them differently. But I'm mostly concerned with home purchases, and we'll just go through it. It said the Federal Reserve laid the groundwork for an interest rate hike Wednesday. That was last week. Although interest rates will still stay near zero for now, Fed officials set the stage for the first of multiple rate hikes starting as soon as March, as they look to contain soaring inflation. My own belief is that they missed, and we're going to have inflation. And if they do really do a good job, we'll get stagflation, which is the worst thing that could possibly happen. When you look here, this is the Fed funds rate. We've kept it here for so long, since 2009. Okay. And then in 2016, we were raising the rates. And I'm not sure if this is when we got something happened here. I don't know what. I don't know if it was the Rona. I don't know what. But we were raising very, very slowly and then just off a cliff. So how does the federal funds rate affect you? That's kind of what we need to know. It says it's the interest rate at which banks borrow and lend to one another overnight. Although that's not the rate consumers pay, the Fed's moves still affect the borrowing and saving rates they see every day. That doesn't really affect you. It says now that the central bank's easy money policies are about to end, consumers will have to pay more to borrow and still barely benefit from better rates on their deposits. Further, the first rate hike will be just the beginning. The last time the Fed raised rates, it raised rates 9 times in a 3-year period. The cumulative effects of rate hikes is what's really going to have an impact on the economy and household budgets. So we read this a little wrong. So how the federal fund rate affects you, that's a paragraph about like setting it up. Now, this is what it's supposed to do. The cost of borrowing will rise. So as it accords to home prices, which I'm most interested in, as the Fed unwinds its bond purchases, long-term fixed mortgage rates are edging higher since they are influenced by the economy and inflation. The average 30-year fixed-rate home mortgage has already risen to 3.75% and is likely to climb to 4% by the end of the year. As rates rise, there are fewer opportunities to refinance. Waiting has cost you big time. If you're paying a rate over 4%, you can still benefit, but it's going to be more modest. Now, what I would say is this. I mean, should you wait because rates are going to go up, which means house prices have to go down? Well, you're banking on house prices have to go down, and if there's strong demand, I just know that there's going to be a definite space between what sellers have been being told for the last 2 years and reality. So it's quite possible and quite likely people will come to market with stupid pricing, stupid asking prices, and then be surprised when their house doesn't sell. And that's going to have to happen for like a year before you can actually start telling sellers, hey, maybe the market isn't as hot as you think it is. Maybe we're not making stuff up. But that's going to take a year. So there's a large amount of transition. And then plus, as long as you tell your clients, hey, look, this house may not sell at this price, but I'm willing to list it if you'll work with me going forward on price changes if we need it. And they're okay with that. Hey, go for it. It says buyers who are worried about rising rates, how rising rates will impact them, should work on boosting their credit score and saving up as much as possible before they apply for a loan. Yeah, I agree with that. But that's kind of true always. It's not just because we're heading into a situation where interest rates are rising. It says the more money that can be put toward a down payment and the higher their credit score is, the better rate they're likely to be offered. Well, that's not new. And it says, even though they're rising, today's mortgage rates are still relatively low from a historical perspective. And that's true. I mean, in 2000, we were at 8%. Then there was the recession. And then, now what I'd like to see is the Fed funds rate put on this graph. because it's not, in my understanding is it's not a one-to-one. I mean, you're not going to see this exactly the same way. I mean, we can sort of see, I mean, see how that goes. That's from 2004. So what happened in 2004? So that would have been right around here. I mean, it went like that, and yet this slowly went down. See a little blip here. Shorter term borrowing rates, particularly on credit cards, will head higher even faster. Since most credit cards have a variable rate, there's a direct connection to the Fed's benchmark. So expect your APR to rise when the Fed makes a move. Credit card rates are currently around 16%, which is ridiculous. Borrowers could call their card issuer and ask for a lower rate, switch to a zero interest rate balance transfer card, or consolidate and pay off high interest debts. With a home equity loan or personal loan, cards offering 15, 18, even 21 months with no interest on transferred balances are one of the biggest weapons in the battle against credit card debt. Yes, credit card debt is bad. Savers get squeezed when the Fed does raise its benchmark rate. Rates will be much slower to respond, and even then only incrementally. While the Fed has no direct influence on deposit rates, they tend to be correlated to changes with the target federal funds rate. As a result, the savings account rate at some of the largest retail banks have been hovering near rock bottom, currently a mere 0.06 on average. Many banks are not going to be passing along higher rates to savers, so where you have your money parked is going to be really important. So do you, like, I don't know. Do you put all of your money in a bank? I would not. If I had a bunch of money, if I had a bunch of cash laying around, it would be in an investment account at all times. A relatively safe one, and you say, well, there's no such thing. Let's be honest, there's probably a few. But I would never be in a bank if I had, I mean, that's just dumb. It says, thanks in part to lower overhead expenses, the average online savings account rate is at least 3 times higher than the average rate from a traditional bank and mortar bank. And I've always thought that's reasonable. I think it was called Ally. They were backed by GM, and then GM ate it. Now, this is just my understanding. And so Ally bid it, but there were people behind Ally, and it came back. They spun it off, I believe. So I think that online savings bank, I think they could be even better. However, because the inflation rate is now higher than all these rates, any money in savings loses purchasing power over time. So what they're saying is if you've got $100 in the bank, okay, and inflation is at 6%, okay, and you're making 0.06%, your money's worth less and less as time goes on. But that's an economic principle. That's the time value of money, and we've kind of gone with that as our basis for all understanding about economics. At least that's how I learned basic finance. So, I don't know. Housing will be impacted. That's why I can. But you know, I've said, I had a terrible year. And I've told you why. It's because, you know, my buyers and sellers are both kind of locked into places and they can't get out. The buyers aren't seeing value for the houses that they see, and the sellers are not wanting to sell because, you know, they feel like they can get more later. Let's do one more article. I thought this was an interesting article because broker confidence dips slightly in January amidst inventory and pandemic concerns. This was written on January 28th, and this is they're doing a. Oh, are you going to do this to me? See, they do this to me, and like it was not an exclusive article before. And it's like, seriously, I'm already a subscriber. Let me see if I can refresh it. If I can't, we'll have to go. There you go. Get to a certain point. Bam. Huh. Well, shoot. I tried. All right, well, we're not going to talk about this. I mean, you can see that I'm thwarted. Let me go here. We're getting to the point where I'm not going to use them anymore as a source, and maybe they're happy about that. They've done that to me like 3 times this month so far. Anyway, all it was saying is that broker confidence had slipped because of the pandemic, which, what are they going to use this month? Look, seasonally as a broker, you know that this isn't the strongest time of the year. Even if we're in the best home sales space ever, this is still slow. This is the slow time of the year. And you really only have until, like I said, the 3rd week in March or so before the home buying just gets to a fever pitch. So you have basically now. I tell that to my buyers, get out there and get a house now. Now, a little difficult today with like snow on the ground. I don't even know how much snow, but there's a lot. Ice underneath it. So we're not going to get a lot of work then. But this weekend should be clear enough we can go and start looking at houses, and I hope to. I'd really like my buyers to find a home in this marketplace, and I'd really like them to find a home that was right for them. They've got to write offers. They've got to go see houses in person, and then they have to kind of pick a location in town. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Sorry about that last article. Not my fault, but I do apologize. You guys have a good rest of the day. If you watch in the morning, go for it. I appreciate it. I've been looking at some of the statistics, and I know you guys are watching, and I appreciate it. I know that you can't always be on at 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. I hope to be able to put on a stream for you in the evenings down the road. I just need to get my schedule right. I just need to be able to have I need more chat involvement if I'm going to do something like that, because I have to pull more articles, and I can't be pulling 10 articles at 9 a.m. and then have another 5 in the afternoon. I just can't. I have an idea of what I want to do on a broker recruitment podcast for this afternoon. I don't know if I'm going to have success with that, but we're gonna see how it goes, and that's what I have. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it.